A soron következő 5 perc UFO epizód egy válogatás különféle nyilatkozatokból, interjúkból. E rövid részletekben az ufológiában ismert szereplők megfogalmazzák, szerintük mit tartogat a jövő. Ezek eredetileg a Nova második évadának 8. és 9. epizódjában hangoztak el. Hamarosan újra jelentőségteljesek lesznek, ezért nem árt felidézni őket. Sós Dóra bevezetőjén kívül a többi tartalom angol nyelvű, saját készítésű magyar felirattal. Az itt elhangzó gondolatok magyar nyelvű, írott változata elérhető a nonhuman.hu weboldalon.
Igazából az egész mai műsor ötlete egyetlen szóból bontakozott ki, ez pedig az imminent. Ez Lou Elizondo új könyvének a címe, és félre ne értsetek, én nem vagyok Lou Elizondo fan, nem istenítem. Viszont úgy gondolom, hogy van annyira jelentős most az ő hangja az UFO valóság alakításában, hogy érdemes odafigyelni arra, hogy mit mond, vagy épp mit sugall. Az a szó, hogy imminent, magyarul imminens, olyan szinonimákkal is kifejezhető, mint hogy közelgő, küszöbön álló, elkerülhetetlen. Elizondo szerint mindegy, hogy valaki az UFO valóságot fenyegetésként, áldásként, lehetőségként vagy szimplán változásként fogja föl. A helyzet az, hogy most már a kongresszus is komolyabban veszi ezt a kérdést, és csak idő kérdése, hogy a hétköznapi emberek tudatába is leszivárogjon az, hogy az UFO valóság tény. De ez a szóválasztás, hogy imminent, akkor sem hagyott nyugodni, mert olyan érzésem volt, hogy ez még nem a teljes kép. Itt valami már jó ideje alakul, formálódik, de talán csak most fog valósággá válni. Csak mi lehet az? Ezen tűnődtem újra és újra. Az rajzolódik ki, hogy nagy események várhatók. Az UFO valóságot kutató szakemberek között ugyanis most felerősödött a párbeszéd arról, hogy valami tényleg közeleg, egy olyan esemény vagy esemény sorozat, amelynek bekövetkeztekor a világ, ahogy eddig ismertük, örökre megváltozik.
The first discovery, the lights, came from ESA, the European Space Agency, to look at a possible incoming contact. So an object that they spotted. This object is making moves, breaking moves, and course correcting moves. So that means that it is not a natural satellite. And that means that it is not an asteroid either. It's coming this way, and it is massive. The signal that is incoming is the big unknown. What they know is that it is coming. What they don't know is what the hell it is, which is the reason they are doing these unclassified briefings, because apparently there is some level of urgency. That doesn't mean that it's a threat, but it needs to be looked at and it needs to be studied, and I guess we need all hands on deck with this.
There have been some significant rumors of events regarding UAP that may occur within, like 10 years or so. I don't know if it's something coming or a natural disaster. You hear of something big coming down the pike. Have you heard of these claims? And if so, do you have any idea what it may be?
Yes, I've heard of them. Yes, I'm aware of them, and I'm not able to have that conversation. It's not my conversation to have, but I am aware of it.
If the general public knew or saw what you saw, what would the next week look like? How would the public react?
Somber. I think there would be this big exhale for about a day. And then this turning inward and trying to reflect on what this means to us and our species and ourselves. I think you would have some people perhaps turning to religion more so. You might have some people turning away from religion. I think you're going to have, at that point, the philosophical and theological questions will be raised. and people will have some serious soul searching to do, no pun intended. I think the scientific and academic community is going to have to take a real hard look at itself and see why it repeated the same mistakes it did when Galileo first proposed that the Earth was not the center of the solar system. And then I think, maybe we start the international conversation, say, okay, we realize that there's some things out there that are probably well beyond our petty discrepancies we have with each other. Maybe we really need to start working together on this. Realize that we are really a global family. Doesn't matter where you're from, or doesn't matter what your religion is, or culture, or your color, or anything else. We are all brothers and sisters on this tiny little rock called Earth. This pale blue dot that's hurtling through space.
You may unify us.
Well, I would certainly hope so, unless we allow our poor nature to interfere, and we look at this as opportunities to subjugate each other. I would hope that's not the case.
This second clip gives context to the first and was asked in 2021.
Imagine everything you've been taught, whether it's through Sunday school or through regular formal education in school, or what our political leaders have told us, and yes, even maybe our mothers and fathers around the dinner table have told us, or maybe at bedtime, about who we are, right? And our background and our past. What if all of that turned out to be not entirely accurate? In fact, the very history of our species, the meaning, what it means to be a human being and our place in this universe. What if all that is now in question? Are we prepared to have that honest question with ourselves? Are we prepared to recognize that we're not at the top of the food chain, potentially? That we're not the alpha predator, that we are maybe somewhere in the middle? So this guy I respect tremendously, and we had a conversation. He said, Lou, mankind's been around for a little while. And for most of that time, mankind's been around. We've been smack in the middle of the food chain. We've been, we ate a lot of things, and a lot of things ate us. And that's just the bottom line. And about 70,000 years ago, something fundamentally changed. Something changed. And our species was instantly catapulted to the very top of our planet as far as predatory animals. And now all of a sudden, we became the most feared. We were the most lethal and the most successful. In fact, most of the large species that existed on this planet went extinct because of us, believe it or not, because we started eating all of it. That changed the entire global landscape of our planet almost overnight. What if it turns out that there's another species that is even higher on that ladder than we are? Do we need the social institutions that we have today? Will we need governmental and religious organizations that we have today if it turns out that there is something else or someone else that is technologically more advanced and perhaps from an evolutionary perspective more advanced? Have we been wasting our time all this time? Or are we doing exactly what we're supposed to be doing? Are we, does it turn out that mankind is in fact just another animal in the zoo? Or, because we thought ourselves as a zookeeper before, but maybe we're just another exhibit inside the zoo. What would that mean to us? Do we find ourselves in a situation where history may have to be rewritten?
We're kind of preparing the U.S. population, at least, and by extension, the world population, into that reality that there is something there is a presence here, and that we need to explain this presence. Because if they show up and we continue to do what we did before in previous decades, and they show up, there will be mass panic. But if you understand that these are real, and we have 5 years from 2022, or maybe now 4 years, if they come in 2027, for the U.S. government to prepare the people about what is up there. And in many ways, I think the word got out within the government that they're showing up in 2027, and we better be prepared. And if not, there's going to be a lot of explaining to do.
Now, here is something that I find particularly wild. But in about 2008 or 9, I would have been like 15 or 16 years old. Something he said to me and my family that for many years I've been paying attention to in my mind is that by the year 2025, the disclosure rollout would be on the table. All those years ago, 2008 or 2009, he said the government's disclosure plan is going to be out on the table by 2025. And this is what he's saying. He said, and we're going to do it through soft disclosure, meaning there's going to be like a steady drip of information so as to not shock people. It's going to be like little bits of information coming out over a long span of time.
Right.
But, that we should know pretty much the majority of everything by 2025.
What do you think the disclosure is gonna look like? Like, do you think that if there is government disclosure about this stuff, it's gonna be 100% accurate?
No, actually the opposite.
How so?
I think it's going to be more or less fear-based. More or less, militarized. You're seeing it now. They're jamming our space. They're jamming our radars. You've got congressional hearings where they're coming out and they're saying, I have a classified dossier that was handed to me by a superior, and I've heard stories of people getting harmed, and you've got like a Mexican Congress coming out with a body saying there's eggs in it, and you've got all the stuff. It's building this fantastic sci-fi story, right? But I think at the end of
you think it's fear-based?
Yeah, I think the general picture is to create this narrative that we are all tiny specks of pretty much nothing, and that there's no hope, there's no any inkling of spiritual evolution. And why do I think that? It's because it's what the lady told to my dad. It's in the book. It's in the regression. It's what she said. I mean, it's the message. She said that there is a force. She didn't say who. She said that there are people at the helm of humanity. She didn't say the Illuminati. She didn't say the Bilderbergers. She didn't give a name, right? She just said there is a dark force.
A dark force at the helm of humanity.
At the tippy top, yep, controlling humanity, there's a dark force. And they are using biblical scripture, namely the book of Revelations, to sort of script events on a global stage to manifest a cataclysm, and that there would be a great deception. That this deception would be basically to paint the phenomenon in a negative light.
That after one of these events, they were all at Leslie Kean's house, and basically Leslie Kean told them that all of these UFOs people are seeing is NHI coming back to basically witness the end of the world. There's nothing we can do about it, and the governments all know about it, and they're just kind of waiting till it happens. And my friend, he was really shocked by this, because like it wasn't just Leslie Kean there too. Apparently there were some other like high profile UFO people there. I don't think like Lou or anyone was there, but some other like huge big names were there, and just the setting with which this person received this information. You're at the after event of this big conference, and you guys are all here, and now you're going to hit you with this information. But this person took it really seriously and was like, no, they all believe this, and like they were shocked. They almost wanted to leave the field. they were like in a really crazy mental state.
But the source, I mean, it sounded super legit. It's been talked about a little bit, and I just feel like Leslie's trying to spread the word. You know,
They were given a timeline, though, weren't they?
Yeah. It's all within the next like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, like she said on the toe clip, right? She was like, not even 10 years, 3 to 4 years. We won't have like basic
cable
necessities.
Yeah, we won't have anything, dude. According to her, which seems like a bummer, dude. Like too much for me to comprehend, but still, she seemed very convinced.
Okay, I'm gonna hold you to that. Within a decade.
Okay. Oh, definitely. It better happen before that. I don't think we're going to be in any shape in a decade to be doing very much of anything. So I'm not hopeful for the future direction that we're moving in it.
And the future direction, climate-wise, AI-wise?
Climate-wise and geopolitical-wise. The whole thing, I think, is going to kind of come. I think things are going to be pretty difficult starting in a few years. And from what I've been told by sources.
What does that mean? It's going to be difficult.
I can't say specifically. I don't know that much yet, and I can't really say, but just that a lot of what we take for granted now in life, I don't think is going to be, we're not going to have it. A lot of things we have now that makes our lives as wonderful as they are.
Like electricity?
I don't know. Just the access to all the things we have access to now that are dependent on the globalization, basically, which just aren't sustainable. A lot of the things we have aren't sustainable. The populations are growing, and I think the climate issues are major as well. I mean, that's just my opinion, but I have studied quite a bit about the climate change problem, and I take it really seriously.
Is there something about the geopolitical situation? Because you just referenced population and climate change.
It's not that simple. I just don't feel qualified to talk about it, but I just don't think things as they are now are sustainable, and I'm not qualified to really talk about that. I'm just concerned. That's all.
Yeah.
So I don't think 10 years in the future. I only think 3 or 4 years into the future.
It's too uncertain past that point.
I would say so. Yeah.
There's certainly plenty of very serious thinkers who say that the human race is heading right towards extinction.
The challenge is an effort to involve an acquisition of information from the other side that proves or disproves what information Bix already has from multiple kinds of sources as to the disposition of the human race in time coming. It's a pessimistic view that we have relative to the data that are telling us what we see. I'm hoping we're wrong. But I'm hoping that the data are substantial in the way that we're trying to acquire it to tell us we're wrong. Because we're going to do devil's advocacy on the data that's coming from the sources that we are out there trying to gather.
If I understand what you're saying, it's basically like the data that is coming into you from multiple sources leads you to have a pessimistic outlook on the future of humanity.
Yeah.
And you're looking for some way that we might be able to change that apparent destiny.
I don't think that's an achievable goal for me. I think I'm an explorer, a researcher, and I think that problem is gigantic. It's huge.
Because it's coming at us from many angles.
Yeah, it's probably already written on the wind one way or another, and it's going to happen. And there's little or nothing we can do about it. Part of that is a function of nobody's going to listen anyway, and So who are we talking to? Things are really going to be bad. And how do you prepare yourself for that and those that you love and care for? Or friends? How do you prepare?